Hi everyone, welcome to Mompreneur Space live show podcast where I interview mompreneurs from all around the world so that you can learn from them how they overcome their challenges and struggles. I'm your host, Kenneth Chu, and today's is 108th episode of Mompreneur Space live show podcast. This podcast started with a very simple thought of sharing inspiring mompreneur story so that aspiring mompreneur will be able to resonate and start to make a difference in their lives or their family's life. I've also come across a lot of amazing mompreneurs and shared their stories in the past 5 years, which is I'm very blessed. And at the same time, today's guest is an amazing mompreneur who I have the chance to connect with her at this blockchain fest in February. And after that, I had a Zoom meeting to get to know her more. And the more we talk, I realized that she is so amazing and had overcome a lot of adversity. In this episode, we will be talking about rising up through adversity. Monica, Monica Hipolito Aguilar is the Chief Optimization Officer of Streetpark Productions and co-executive producer of the Final Pitch and Philippine Reality TV on CNN Philippines. She has a total of 24 years of experience in marketing and business development, specializing in real estate and bioscience in Asia, the United States, and Europe. Monica has been instrumental in ensuring that deals made on television come to life after the camera stop rolling on the final pitch. She helps the startup in due diligence process until the actual signing of the deal happens. Monica recently completed a certificate course in digital marketing strategy from Kellogg's Executive Education. So without further ado, let me welcome Monica. Hi, Monica.
Hello. Hi, Kenneth.
Hi.
Thank you. Thank you for having me this evening.
You are welcome. You are welcome. And really very thankful that you have made time. I know it's really late. You have a long day. Hope that you still have the energy. Your smile is still there. Thank you very much for making time. Really excited to bring you on because we just got to know each other in February
Right.
now in March. And after talking to you, I realized that you have so much to share and so much to deliver, right?
Thank you.
So maybe before we start, you can let us know more about you. Introduce yourself. Share with us where are you from and currently what are you doing.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I am Monica Hipolito Aguilar. As Kenneth has mentioned, I am the um, co-executive producer of the Final Pitch. It is similar to that of Shark Tank, but we have changed it up a little bit so that it will be more applicable and appealing to the Filipino audience. I'm from the Philippines and happy to be here.
Thank you so much for sharing with us and also introduce yourself. So maybe you can let us know how did you get into the I would say on TV producing a reality show and also about startup the final pitch.
All right. So I started really because I was dating our executive producer, John Aguilar, who's my husband today. And so really that's how I started my career in TV production. It was really at the beginning, I was a client. Um,
Mm,
Streetpark Productions was producing a real estate television show, and they presented to our company, our real estate company at the time, and then and that's where how I met John, and as we were dating, he asked help in terms of helping put processes in place, and that's really how it started. It was just really helping out up until I started helping him also in business development and marketing and operations, and then then the rest is history.
wow, it seems that both of you make a very good business duo, right? Like business couple coming together, even building the business together. So so you had your own business, which is Streetpark Production, which is on the real estate.
No, the Street Park Productions is the production company of John.
Oh, okay.
And I was employed as a real estate marketing manager
Mm,
by a land developer, one of the luxury developers here in the country at that time. So that's what we were doing. I was doing when I
uh,
met John when he was selling Philippine Realty TV. It's a real estate.
okay.
It's a real estate television show, and it's been around since 2007. So
Wow.
we've been producing the show since then, and we're currently preparing for season 20 already.
Wow, that's a lot of season. So back then was 2007, right?
When
2007.
yeah, but then I joined John's company in 2009.
Oh, so shortly after that you joined John.
Yes.
Wow. So through working together, you get to know John, and then you join his company, and then you guys got married and all that. So maybe you can share with us like how did you get into entrepreneurship? Is it through John also that started
It
your whole entrepreneurial
yes,
journey?
yes. I'm more of an entrepreneur rather than an entrepreneur really. I'm an operator. So it was an asset for John that I get onboarded in his company because I was obviously he's the innovator, he's the creative person
Creator,
coming
yeah.
up with the great ideas, and then he really needed someone to help him lay down,
Execute.
execute, compute finances, check the P&L if it's even possible, and yeah, so I do the pencil pushing basically for
Mm.
and that's how the dynamics work for
Yeah.
us.
I think it's good because it's very rare, even until now, right? Although my wife, basically, she's a finance person, very detailed person, but it's very hard for couples to really come together. So, how did you guys? Is that like naturally, or you guys have some regulations that brought? Because I think even for the audience, right, especially the mothers, they want to do business with their husbands. Some of them may like it, some of them may not like it. So, how was your journey working with John, especially building this business?
Right. Okay. So, well, let me just put it out there first that we're not like one of the few married couples working together. We know a lot of couples also working together, husband and wife couples working together, and it's really working pretty well also for them. So I just want to put it out there that we're not all that unique. But how d- it's not a smooth sailing working relationship all the time, and
Mm,
I feel it's not exclusive to husband and wife team.
mm,
It's not exclusive. Any COO and CEO together working really would have sometimes they don't really have gelling of minds all the time.
mm. Yeah.
So that's also a fact, and that's what we go through. Sometimes we don't have the gelling of minds, but the tricky part is that whether or not you're going to bring home the argument that you're
Mm,
having, right, about business, and then like allow it to affect your family life as well, and that's the tricky part.
mm,
And so we make a conscious effort that we leave any problems or disagreements um, outside the family life.
mm,
And then the way we do it really is that we really have a separation of roles. It's very clear that he is the
mm,
CEO and the majority owner of the company, while I am the COO. And so if we have a disagreement or something that we cannot really agree on immediately and it's taking a long time, I really have to be the one to step back because at the end of the day, he's my boss. And that's
mhm.
really how it works for us. For as long as at home I'm the boss. But but
Yeah, so
but in
everybody
the
has their
office
own
it's
space, right? Like you and John, both
yes.
of you have their own space. So at work, he's the boss. At home, you are the boss. So at least it's
Yeah.
fair and square,
I
right?
like to think so. I think so.
I think it's clearer in that way that 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 means both of you have your own space and your own I would say command also. so it's clearer rather than making it so gray that sometimes you lost. Okay, are we talking about work or are we talking about personal stuff, right?
Yes.
I think it's very important. So because when you say that it's very common for a lot of couples, but for my maybe in Singapore, rarely I see a lot of couples coming together to build business. It's very rare in Singapore. So maybe it's because you guys are surrounded with, I would say, successful couples that run business together, and they became your role model. As for Singapore wise, maybe there are not much successful cases, and
Mm-hmm,
maybe
mm-hmm.
that's why, from my perspective, from my experience, have not seen that. And that is also the reason why I've started Mompreneur Space live show podcast, is because the mothers here may not have seen a lot of mompreneurs or mommy starting business,
Yeah, yeah.
because Singapore
Mm-hmm.
is very much, I would say, because the education, the job wise, there are more opportunity,
Uh,
and government is really pushing out a lot of jobs for mothers who want to return back to work. So I think the whole dynamic, the whole environment might be different. So and also it also bring us to the topic of today, right? Which is also rising up through adversity, because you have shared with me some of your story. You are a lupus patient, and a lot of things in your life. You shared with me that you overcame it. So maybe you can share with the audience what are these adversity, and what made you or what helped you to overcome all this.
well, adversities. I've had a bit of share of my adversities. As you have mentioned, I'm a lupus patient. I was diagnosed in 2017, 2018, 2017, and that was a difficult news to bear on my shoulders, and also obviously my family as well. So,
Mm,
um, and I think I've mentioned this to you during our first discovery call, but I'm also John is actually my second husband,
mm,
and so I've gone through marital breakup, and then I brought with my marriage with John. I brought two beautiful children,
mm,
which we're so happy. So we all of a sudden have an instant family. I mean, John have an
mm,
instant family. But now we have three kids. So I have my two older children, and then John and I have a little boy. He's
mm.
8 years old today.
Wow.
Yeah, and shifting careers, is also difficult, from being, an employee and then an entrepreneur, a wife of an entrepreneur.
Yep.
It's quite difficult as well. There was some real adjustments also, and mindset adjustment. For years, I was working um, with John, and my mindset has always been I'm his employee,
Mm.
and so I feel like I deserve stuff that are only given to employees, and
It's
usually
given, right?
owners don't enjoy like vacation. So, but yeah, but John would always remind me that it's different already. You also own the company, and you can't. You have to change also your mindset and be a little bit more entrepreneurial, and those are the things that I look up to John for guidance, because he's a serial entrepreneur and he really knows his space better.
Mm-mm. Yeah, and when you talk about being the role of an employee, right, having that mindset shift to become more entrepreneurial, think like an entrepreneur, think like a boss, and all that stuff. So what was that journey like? Was it a fast transition, or it's like you spend maybe 1 2 years to get it? How was that journey?
Um, I've handled staff before in my previous employments, so the handling, like managing people, came very naturally to
Mm,
me, except that I don't wear a company owner hat. I always
mm,
wear, I'm your peer. I'm also an employee,
mm,
and so the dynamics is really different. And even when closing deals, I really needed to shift the mindset that I there's there it's not just about closing deals. It's really about forging partnership, and
Mm.
but also the longevity
Yep.
of the partnership has to be formed.
Mm-mm.
So those are the so and it took me maybe, I don't know, maybe John will disagree, but it took me a little bit. I'd like to say maybe 1 2 years, but I think John will disagree and he will say maybe a little bit longer than that. you know.
Yeah, but at least you find your bearing right in the first 1 to 2 years, but then definitely that is your version two, right? Then after that, there's some fine tuning, and like you mentioned, John has been a serial entrepreneur, definitely much more experienced. But I think if you leave it to some other people, like for my case, I have no mentor at all. I figure out on my own. I invested a lot in personal development, in a lot of course, um, hitting a lot of roadblocks, right? But at least you have a mentor that's right beside you, that is like your husband and mentoring you, guiding you. That's why I would believe that with that mentorship, the learning curve was shortened, right? For me, it took me a very hard, I would say, 5 years to really learn how to be the different perspective, different areas of entrepreneurship. And that is also something that I feel that coming back with you as a co-executive producer of the final pitch, you have met a lot, tons of startup. Like you guys have done how many season? Is it season 9 or?
Yes, so we've already done 8 seasons, and we're currently preparing for season 9.
Mm.
Yeah, we will launch in a few weeks. Very soon. We'll make an announcement.
Yeah. So if let's say for the past 8 season, like roughly how many startup pitches have you heard? Roughly 100, 200. I don't
About
know.
100, 130 thereabouts, and a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot, right? But until now, you are like the encyclopedia of startup ideas.
So well, I guess you can say, but we've heard so many ideas, exciting ones, um, creative ones, really out of the box ones, and some that you really want to put your money in, so to speak. Ideas.
Even you yourself, right, personally, although you are the producer, right, but you feel, oh, I want to invest. I want to be a
Right.
part of it.
Yeah, we have those conversations, like John and I, when someone's pitching, we'll have like some sideline
Whispering.
conversations and say that, oh, okay, that's really interesting. We should find a way to really help, or find a way to invest or mentor. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think other than all the exciting thing, right? Definitely there are some um, mistakes or things that the startup had commit, right? What would you say are the common mistake that they commit and why? Maybe you can share with us and the
Um,
audience.
Off the top of my head, it would be one of the most common things would be definitely valuation.
Mm,
Sometimes the valuation um, cannot be defended. Like there's no source file
mm,
how the startup founder was able to come up with a valuation. Um, so it needed to be toned down. So a lot of times during the pre-screening, we already talked to them about, you have to revise your ask,
valuation.
because the valuation is a little bit off, and so we really try to guide the entrepreneurs before they actually pitch in front of the investor judges.
Mm,
So that would be one. Another would be, I think, the lack of, sometimes it's very evident that they are in love with
mm,
their idea or their business or revenue model that's unique and out of the box, and we when we don't see the feasibility, sometimes there's lack of ability to listen, or ability to be open to criticisms or suggestions, how to pivot so that it will become more sound as a business idea or a business revenue model. So
yeah.
that, yeah.
That's on the business idea, right? Because they are so passionate about it, and business idea is like their baby, right? Their newborn
Of
baby.
course,
They
of
love
course.
the baby so much, and all parents will love their baby.
Of
Yeah,
course.
so that's why it's also hard to separate the emotional part and also and to be a good listener to hear from the investors. And furthermore, they are pitching to the investor to ask for funding, right? So I think sometimes the role play is it has to be really separate and
Yeah.
really be more, I would say, practical or just open, right? Like you mentioned.
Yeah, yeah. That's true. And another would be the owner of the business idea is not necessarily the best person to pitch in front
Why is that so?
of investor judges. Because sometimes the business idea is very technical, and you need someone who's a good storyteller to be
Mm,
able to get the buy-in of the investors. Someone who's a little bit more eloquent, can use simple words that more people can understand. Sometimes the discussions can get very technical, and you get lost in all the words and terms, and so it will be easier if there will be somebody like a
mm,
co-founder or a CMO, for example, who can better tell the story and elicit a positive response from
mm.
the investor judges.
Yeah, coming to talk about that, right? When you talk about like the founder or the person with the idea, right? uh, might not be the one who's doing the pitch, because I saw one episode, right? This founder or this person who's pitching, right? He went blank, right? Does that happen often? Or that means on real ground, that means live, that the person who pitched, or maybe the founder who's pitching, right, went blank, and there was like complete silence and there was awkwardness. How often is that? I'm just curious, as we all know.
Okay, Kenneth, it doesn't happen all that often. So, um, but we have so much. Well, we love the startup founders. That everybody, we love them, and to have them, and we really want to be able to coach them, and so that they're prepared when they are in front of the investor judges already. But we have few of those that when they go blank, we really cut the scene, and then we really like, I don't know
Means
if
go
it
into the
included, I don't know if we included in the edit, but I remember that John really pulled the startup founder to the side and
Yep,
really
I saw that.
gave him a little bit of pep talk and
Yeah,
just, come on,
encouragement that you can do it. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah, pull
just
yourself
relax, look them
together.
into the eyes. Yeah.
And that, yeah, so um we have everyone that we put on the show, we have so much belief in their
Mm,
idea, in their businesses. So we root for everyone. The moment you are already in front of the investor judges, it's already because we're rooting for you
mm,
as a startup founder, and that's the mindset. And we're really here to help and pave the way, um, for the startups that are part of the show to really meet the investor judges and get any kind of investment. It does not
mm,
necessarily have to be money all the time. It can be mentorship, it can be a board seat, it can be a space in the office, so there's so many ways to skin the cat, so to speak, when it comes to support that startup founders are looking for from
mm.
investor judges.
Yeah. So in that case, well, because I saw that there's quite a lot of love. Like John was like pulling the startup one side, founder one side, and he was like giving him encouragement that you can do it, just breathe and all that stuff, right? Like really like a very fatherly model, to the startup founder. So what would you say is the unique difference between your program and other similar startup pitching show?
The host of our show is also an entrepreneur.
Hmm.
It's also, so I think that one, it's very something that's very unique to us. That's why we we have a certain kind of, like, we also feel
Affiliation.
what they feel.
Yeah.
There's a lot of empathy because John is not just a presenter.
Mm, mm,
He's also an entrepreneur, so he understands the journey. And um before each and every entrepreneur comes to the show, we really talk to them. I mean, John really spends time and really talk to each and every one. So that's the unique thing about our show compared to all the other pitching shows. So that's one. Number two is that we 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 have a mentorship, or much like a boot camp, for
Mm,
example, that we provide the entrepreneurs that are coming onto the show, so
mm,
that we can help them improve their pitch so that they're ready for their final pitch,
mm.
which
Okay. So
basically,
that is how the name came about, right? You're
yes,
preparing them for the final pitch.
we're preparing them for the final pitch.
Okay. Because in Singapore we have something similar, and their first is really open. There's no what do you call it? It's very raw, and the the startup founder just apply and they just been invited to speak with a group, maybe 30 to 50 packs on the spot with
Mhm,
also
mhm.
like five judges with, but it's open to the public for the public to ask some questions. So it's not really the final pitch, it's more like the first pitch. Right? So I see that you guys like, because is it because it's going to be on TV? That's why a lot of fine tuning, a lot of mentoring is needed, or you guys want to really prepare them to really get the investment, which is like the final pitch, to be the best version that they could be. Is there a
I,
particular reason?
I mean, not because it's on TV, but really, for us Filipinos, the our culturally, we can't trust each other in the first meeting and say, okay, this is
Mm,
my business, I need X millions of dollars, and this is we can't do that.
uh,
There has to be a journey.
mm,
We need to get to know each other a little
yeah.
bit, and so
To ice
that's
break,
why.
to build trust, right?
Yes, so
Understanding.
obviously we don't give them enough time either, because it's on TV, but we do give that, like, time for the entrepreneurs to also go and visit their potential investor judges and try to get to know them as well,
Mm,
which essentially would also help them when they already revise their pitch decks
mm, mm,
for
mm.
the final pitch.
Okay. So they are already familiar with you guys, the judges also at the same time. That's where and you guys work with them on their pitch. So that's why typically, how long is that process? Like 3 months or less than that, and before they go.
No, it typically it's just about a month and a half, really. So
So
that
from beginning, their applications in, then they come for the boot camp, and then before they go live.
yeah. So the show starts with the what we call the initial pitch, and that's the first time they will pitch to the investor judges.
Mm, mm, mm.
And then the investor judges will now pick four from maybe the 20 that present.
Qualified. Mm.
And then there will be overlaps. We will have anytime between anywhere between 4 to 6 investor judges, and they will have to all pick four. Sometimes
Mm,
there are overlaps, and the four that they picked will come to their office now, so that they can spend a day with the potential investor judge,
mm,
apart from the mentorship uh, camp that they're going to go through. And both mentorship and the visit to the investor judge would essentially really help them refine their pitch for the final pitch, because they
mm,
now know how to, the storytelling will now
mm,
have to include obviously everything that they learned, and obviously a little bit about their targeted investor, right?
mm.
So yeah, so that's how it's done.
Wow, wow. So it's really a right, like just now we talked about, it's a journey, right?
The journey.
Even for a startup, even the final pitch is not the end of the journey. There's still the next lap, next path that they need to take, right? So so since we've been talking about, like, about this all this startup, now coming back to you. So because we talk about adversity, you talk about the first marriage, then now you second marriage with John, and then um you say that in 2017 you was diagnosed with
Lupus.
lupus, right? So how was that coming to you? Because you were already running business. How was it affecting you, and how were you taking it? Because when I first know you, you don't look like someone. Because coincidentally, my wife, she also had lupus, but it's totally different. When look at you, you look, I would say fine, you look
Normal.
good, normal. The I would say everything, right? You look more healthy than most lupus patient I know. So just want to understand, like, what was going through your mind when this news hit you, or is it because the entrepreneurial mindset, the never say die, never quit kind of the kind of mentality helped you? Would you say that helped you, or or you had some challenges?
Right. Okay. So thank you. I'd like to think I don't look sick all the time. so so having lupus does, I mean, having an autoimmune disease does not necessarily mean you look sick all the
Mm,
time. So there will be good days and there will be bad days. And how did I take the news? Any entrepreneur would have the same mindset. Any mother, any parent, I think, would also have the same mindset. You just have to survive, right? So I had to go through maybe a month and a half of like diagnosis and
mm,
laboratories and all of those things that I have. Everyone has to go through, especially when they're trying to determine what kind of autoimmune disease do
yep,
I have. So that's a very long process.
process.
And so it's really for me because I had I have my three children at that time.
Mm,
The mindset was really to make sure that this does not affect them as much as
mm,
possible. However, during my first year, it was really difficult for me because that's the time wherein I would feel all the flares and
mm,
they're troublesome and painful. Like I can't even shift weight,
mm,
my like when I'm lying down, I can't shift weight on my own. I need help because I'm in so much pain. So John or my son, Luis, would like literally help me like carry me
yep,
just to shift the weight from the left side to the right side or whatever. So it's really very painful
mm,
experience when I have flares. But you know, I worked with, well, number one, I have a pretty solid support group, you know,
mm,
my family,
yeah,
um, and I have a. I really took time to look for the best doctor that I can work with,
mm,
and for me, that's key. That I was able to find a doctor that I wanted to work with and help me navigate my lupus, living my life with lupus. So
mm.
really that's for me the key, my support group, which is my family. Um, and it, you know what really helped also is that because I'm an entrepreneur, we own the business,
Yeah.
right? So it helped that I get to work from the bed when
Mm,
I can't get up, right?
mm, yep.
So those things, so it really helped. And our team in the office, they're also super supportive and super understanding as well. Um yeah, so basically that's how.
I think I like the part where you talk about, because you are an entrepreneur, and you run your own business, and you are not at the at the mercy of an employer, right? That you need to go back to work, or you still need to work or report to office, whatever. And if you don't fulfill your role as an employee, you might
Right.
get fired or might get
Correct.
released,
Yeah.
right? So when you talk about the flexibility, and also you have a choice, right? You have a choice. You can make that choice, and you can always get someone to support you more. That means the team, where I believe that you guys have a very good team. That's why your load is being reduced, but at the same time, you still can make a man in other parts, right? Because you can work from your bed remotely.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the other thing is also because you talk about the support system, and you talk about, because by being an entrepreneur, you are able to be in control,
Mm-hmm.
be more resourceful, I would say resourceful, and also financially you are more sound as compared when you are working for someone else, right? Imagine you are if you are not an entrepreneur, you are an employee. When you are hit with lupus, I think there is more things that you are not in control. That means you'll be
For
thinking, okay,
sure.
will I lose my job,
For
right?
sure. And
Yeah.
I've heard people who would really lose their jobs because they couldn't go to work. I mean, sometimes I think I mentioned this to you as well, but see, lupus is very tricky, I think
Yes.
is the word I'm going to use. And
Uncertainty.
I'm sure you're very familiar. Um, and there's an entire range, like a full range of lu-
Possibility.
possibilities, and then the symptoms can be super severe that you
Yeah.
will need a transplant, a
Mm,
chemotherapy,
correct.
a radiation, dialysis.
Really, really extreme, right?
Yes, and for me, I have it really the mildest, I
Mm,
think, milder version. So that helped. So I'm grateful to the greater being up
yep.
there
You're
who
very blessed. Yep.
very blessed that I was able to just my lupus is really the milder kind.
Mm, mm, mm.
And in fact, um in 4 months time, I my doctor is going to experiment and see if I can be taken off my meds and if I
Mm.
still remain flare free because I haven't had flares for the past year.
Yeah, that's good. That's good to know. That's good to know because it's always because for long-term medication, right? Like my wife, she had it for 16, 17 years, like medication.
Mhm.
There's a lot of side effects on that. So which is also reacting, and also as we
Mhm.
grow older, right?
Sure.
The immunity, like by default, your immunity is not strong enough. That's why you need to depend on medication, even steroid, to really sustain, to uphold, to defend yourself. Against other diseases, other virus, which is very prone, right?
Mhm, mhm.
So especially in the past 2 years, the pandemic, a lot of things.
For
Yeah. So
sure.
it's like very risky for you guys. And you mentioned about the flare. Like the flare is no joke. And it's not that you can predict that you're going to have the flare. And when it comes, like my wife has to been the usual visitor, like VIP for A&E, the emergency ward,
Uh-huh,
like
uh-huh, uh-huh.
like back then when we first, I think in the initial 5, 6, 7 years, she has been like regular, and at day she's called it the staycation that she has to went in. Like even the A&E, the nurses like kind of know her already, or even the ward, the nurses will know her. So I think, but I'm very blessed that now everything is under control.
Oh,
Like
that's
doctors
good.
also taking her off some very strong medicine,
That's good.
and she's also like working out, and it's good. But because it's a lifetime disease, it's very hard for you to know what will happen next also.
Oh, for sure. For
Yeah.
sure.
So good to know that that your doctor will be lifting you from some of the medicine. Is it some of the medicine or all of it?
So right now I'm only taking Plaquenil, hydrochloroquine. So
Hmm.
that's the only medicine I'm taking, but
Okay.
I have all my vitamin D supplements
Mm,
because
yeah.
I have very low vitamin D. Um, so she will take out Plaquenil because I'm no longer taking steroids. I haven't been
Mm,
taking steroids
that's
for
good.
maybe 2 years also, so
Yeah.
quite a long time. So yeah,
Good
so
news.
yes, yes, super good news. So I'm so excited. Um, so I'm also a little bit more vigilant in
Hmm.
like in the past few weeks because I really want to make sure I don't get flares.
Yeah, yeah. So it's better for you to be safe than sorry, right? I
Yes,
think I think the other thing is also stress does trigger the flare,
yeah,
and because as an entrepreneur you can control, right? You can maybe take care, you're like you can care for yourself more. Don't give yourself too much stress, is able to
right.
control as compared as a working adult, right? You work for people, the stress is unavoidable. Yeah, because it will trigger the flare.
Sure. Yes. Yeah. I mean, yes. And then it's not just the work really. Remember we're moms here. So it's not just the work and the office, but it's really also like
The
am I
children.
going to cook dinner tonight? Do I have the energy?
Mm,
Really being able to determine
the
how much
usual task,
energy
right?
do I really have, and if I go beyond what I have in terms of my energy and do
Mm,
laundry
mm,
or cook dinner, I might have a flare that
yeah.
day or that evening.
Yeah,
So
because it's like you are overworking and tired yourself, the energy, right? You only have so much because the medicine will also bring down the energy also. Yeah, because
Yes.
the side effects are there.
Steroids. Yeah.
Yeah, good to know that. And also, maybe for now we talk about your life, the adversity. So, what will be the challenges that you face as an entrepreneur during this journey? Can you share with us?
Okay. I think the I
Or there's no challenges for you because you
no,
have a serial entrepreneur mentoring you.
I have John by my side. We don't have challenges. No. So challenges would be, for example, if we have ideas that it's not like number one, there are two things for the ideas. Number one, if the idea is if we both have a buy-in in the idea and we
Mm,
try to like socialize it to other people, but we don't get the buy-in from the other people, that will be tough for us. So and so then we have to go back and go back to the drawing board and try to evaluate and see how we can pivot and change things up a little bit. So that's one. Number two is that when we have ideas and we don't agree as husband and wife, COO team, it's also difficult for us and it becomes a challenge for us, which obviously we have to, make sure that we find a way to gel and have a gelling of minds. And like what I said earlier, if we don't get to agree, then I just have to step back and let John g- run along with it, and just support him because that's just the way it is.
mm,
What else? Yeah, I think basically, and like what I mentioned, you know, it your question is entrepreneurial journey. It's a
yeah.
journey. It's a constant learning and relearning. It's not a destination. It's not an entrepreneurial destination. It's an
Mm,
entrepreneurial journey, and therefore, it's really is a constant learning, pivoting. Just have to keep on also um, do a lot of reading and
mm,
researching and really listening to your audience also. And speaking about listening to your audience, I mean, we're on TV,
mm.
right? So it's a very public forum and platform, and we can't please everybody. So we do really have um, we get criticisms and some constructive, some just plain criticisms, and we
That's
really need
trolling, right?
so we really need to just really accept them. um some we have to take it with a grain of salt, the others we really take them seriously and sit down with the team and see how we can change, improve, or do better for the next time.
Yeah, I think it's also important, like you say, it's on TV, right? Even you are not on TV as an entrepreneur, we will face criticism. We will face a lot of different, maybe people say that your idea is not good, your idea is bad, and it's how you're going to swallow, how you're going to digest, and that is precisely the thing that you are facing challenges. So what would you say that typically for any entrepreneur, what would be their challenges? That means as you have seen a lot of startup founder, right, on their entrepreneurial journey, what would be the typical challenges that they have, like for others, not just for you?
Challenges would be, well, number one, I think funding is always a
Okay.
challenge. We all need a little bit of help in the funding side. Another one would be um, really hiring the best, finding the right people to
Mm,
onboard as part of your team, and really sometimes that we need to be able to um, find, and it's difficult to find the
mm,
reason being, and then also you need to be able to put the culture together, the kind of culture that you want, because
mm.
that becomes your guide how
Yep.
to onboard people and the kind of people that you want to onboard as part of your team. So I think basically it's really finding the right
Funding.
team
Mm.
members and funding.
Yeah, finding money and finding people.
That's true. Very challenging.
Yeah, I think the other thing could be like keeping up with time, right? Like now, like this year is all about AI, artificial intelligence. How are you going to move on with time? Where a lot of companies, a lot of the competitors might be embracing AI, and maybe
Sure.
it will also affect your business, because these are all what we call market trends, right? So business is like a journey. Entrepreneurship is really like a journey. It is always, there's a lot of uncertainty, there's a lot of unknown stuff that appear. So I think that could be something, because when I hear like your whole journey, even you guys had done like season eight, 8 seasons of the final pitch, and now going for nine, and then next you guys are going for the Asian version. I
Mm-hmm.
think you are, you guys are seeing the wave, right? That's why you guys are moving. Even I saw there's a tech series, the tech edition, that you
Yes.
guys are
Yeah.
moving into tech.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So which is you're moving along with time, right?
Right. You have to be able to, you have to keep your ear on the ground, close to the ground, so that then you're able to 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 pivot, you're able to change your business and really adapt your business to the changing times. It's not just
Hmm.
AI, there's blockchain, and
NFT,
blockchain I
that's
have to
our
NFTs, NFT art, you NFT, I don't know what else can you NFT, but so there are a lot of things that I am still also learning.
yep.
Like blockchain, I really have to understand. There's also crypto, and so a
So
lot of
many things, right? Like
a lot
entrepreneurial is always on the go, always like absorbing like a sponge, right?
for sure. We really need to keep on learning. So it's very important to be like all in events. Try to get to know more people,
Be on the
network,
ground, right?
understand the new technologies that are emerging, and we really need to understand and see how we can incorporate them in our own businesses.
Yeah. But what if they are startup founders, maybe mothers, they are not able to be always on the ground? What would you uh, sh- share with them? What advice will you share with them, if how are they going to be always on the go, on being updated?
Well, because of COVID, there are so many events now that are able to execute both live and
Mm,
on
virtual.
streaming. So
Yeah.
it makes it easier to still be to keep yourself abreast and network, even if you're from your home. You can just
Mm-mm.
attend via online. So and that's, I feel like, one of the silver linings of getting locked down for so long. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like Philippines, we got locked down for the
Mm,
longest. I think we
mm-mm.
were locked down 2.5 years. So but that's like the silver lining for us. We're able to really know how to do our business from
Mm.
Zoom,
Yeah.
connected, and trying to close deals really from a computer screen.
Yeah, I think it's also being resourceful, right? Because as an entrepreneur, we are natural, or we are good at grouping and gathering resources and network. And on the other hand, if let's say they can't meet people, right, they can always tune in to our live stream for at Mompreneur Space, right, to learn from other mompreneurs how they overcome their challenges and struggles without meeting them in person. They can always live stream, watch all the past episode, and that could be one, right. That is also because I like, for me, why I do it on live stream, because I understand that mothers may not be able to go out that often,
Mm-hmm.
may not be have the access to really go out. And if let's say you are handling 3 to 4 kids, it's even harder. So that's where one of the way is through podcasts, or even through video podcasts. So time really really flies. I really love our conversation, Monica.
Thanks.
So maybe you can
Love our
share.
conversation too.
Yes, yes. I believe that we can go on and on, maybe a second episode, or even invite you back. Yeah. So what would be your last advice for the mothers who wanted to start business? What would be your last advice for them?
Okay.
Or you have more than one?
Did you just ask for one? so, um, so my advice would be, number one, to find a mentor. Don't be in love with your idea. Try to socialize it. Talk to people. See if you have a buy-in by your friends or even strangers, and see if you can um, have a buy-in, and before you actually go to your proof of concept. Just try to see first if you can have a buy-in. Have a mentor. I'm always grateful that John is by my side, so I do refer to him when I have questions. And um, um, go to LinkedIn. I feel like obviously go to mompreneur space.
Thank you.
Watch episodes that whose mompreneurs are similar to the businesses that you want to launch, and message them on LinkedIn,
Yep.
and really just connect with
They
other.
would love to.
Yeah, just connect with the other mompreneurs, and ask questions. And many of the mompreneurs are super helpful,
Yeah.
and it's just helping is natural to any mother, I feel, or any parent for that matter.
Helping, especially helping another mother, right? This is what I realized, that mothers are, I would say, really unconditional love for their children, other people's children, other mothers, right? It's regardless of whatever skin, religion. It's like whenever you see, like, maybe for one instant, right? I believe, like, as a mom, when you see another mom struggling with the stroller with 2 to 3 kids, I believe that you will rush in to help them, right? Definitely, regardless what whoever she is, right, or where she is.
For
So I
sure.
think that is really that. This is also why I enjoy working with mompreneurs and interviewing you guys. Like like if not for that love, for that empathy, or for that what you call that, help, right? My show will not last you today, right? Because every time a mompreneur, hey Kenneth, do you know this mompreneur? Maybe you can invite her onto the show, and mummies love to share and keep on sharing, referring new mompreneurs, inspiring mompreneurs. That's why this show can go on after 5 years, coming to 6 years. So once again, thank you very much for sharing the last advice. And at the same time, just what you were saying, right? You encourage them to reach out to any mompreneur. So how can they get connected with you? Because for your case, you have been absorbing, going through 100, 200 startup ideas. Definitely, you are another encyclopedia. So I believe that they can learn a lot of things from you, connect with you with their ideas. So how can they get connected with you, Monica?
Well, I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. And so for Facebook, it's Monica.Hipolito. For IG, it's Monica H. Aguilar. So, and you can find me on LinkedIn as well.
Yes, yes. So you guys can see that I just paste the handle in the below here. Yeah. So you guys can reach out to Monica. At the same time, on the description, you will be able to connect to her also, or you can just search for her name. You will definitely find her. So last but not least, once again, thanks Monica for spending so much precious time and sharing with us how you overcame your adversity, how you rise up from this all this adversity, because with life, with business, with relationship, with marriage, you have just overcome, and you are rising up, right, every step by step. And seeing you now, you guys are impacting more people, more startup, and also a very good inspiration, and to really bring up the entrepreneurial landscape in Philippines, because I believe your show does a lot of wonders, help to create more startup, help to bring up the startup scene. And I can't wait to be able to work with you guys, or even with you personally, to bring up the women startup scene in Asia Pac, right? That will be something that we'll be working on. So for those who are tuning in, listening, thank you guys for hopping on, especially for those who are tuning on live stream. Thank you for, I mean, most likely they are your followers, your friends, right? People who are supporting you, like you mentioned, a very good support team. Right. So once again, thanks Monica for making time for this episode. And I will see you guys next week for a new brand episode, and interviewing another mompreneur. So thank you everyone. Bye everyone. Thank
Bye. Thank you.
you.
Thank you very much.
Bye bye.